Okay, that's cool. Well, look, dude, um, keep repeating the successful things that are working. And look, by the way, the record is 0 for 19. Kyle Cater. Kyle Cater's agency manager. He makes a couple 100,000 a year with us plus. And he started out, he was 0 for 19. So, you're in good company.
Wow. Yes, that's nice.
Yeah, man. So, anyway. And what's cool about that is most people, um, most people don't understand the that part of this business is getting a little going through the discouragement of trying doing something new. Like, what job did you have prior to joining us?
I worked in a granite shop and I was a lifeguard, so nothing really to do with insurance.
Okay, but look, you had to learn CPR, you had to learn life-saving techniques. So you were probably not very competent at starting that out, but
Hmm.
you started getting better and better. Likewise with this. And when you think about like our top producer last year, Pro Phil, did $427,000 of commissions, you know, for you to be in the exact same business as her. Okay, so let's kind of put it into context. You're in the exact same business as her, where she made $427,000 last year. Okay, so she came in and she didn't close her first appointments either. And then she got better and better, and then she started learning how to do this. So isn't it cool that you're in the exact same business that she's in, and you can produce exactly the same results if you do and learn what she did and learned? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It is awesome.
And it is awesome, dude. And so your journey has just started, but you can get there if you want. But just
Hmm.
like Stephen Davies said this morning, you're walking down the same road that we're walking down. Now, some people are faster or slower. So if you desire to have a large hierarchy and agency, you can do exactly the same thing. So what works on the sales side also works on the building side if you walk the same path that we walked. And the path that we walked is one of disappointment. It's one of people leaving you that thought that they would be loyal, people betraying you, people leaving you with debt, okay, going through all the crap to find the Patrick and Suzanne Connors and the Mike and Noel Leventovich and the Cord and Christy Goodsons of the world, the people that are, building this thing and the deep relationships and, the, you walk through broken glass to find those people. And that's really what we're talking about here. I love the fact that you hung in there long enough. So here's what that tells me, dude. That just tells me that you persevere, you're a survivor. And if you can just hang through that, man, you can hang through anything. That disappointment, and you're probably doubting in your mind, can I really do this? This just is not working. And trust me, those thoughts have gone through my head too. But
Absolutely.
but but we don't let the emotions dictate our decisions. We let getting around other people, getting in, letting us get into your head, that it's eventually going to work. So anyway, um, that's good stuff. Yeah, I'm very proud of you, and it's
Thank
nice
you
to
very much.
see, someone brand new like you, and as young as you are, kind of figure this thing out. That's a very cool thing.
Mhm.
So anyway, yeah, hey, so Cord, so when Ian would call, you guys are working to help him out. So what would you observe about Ian that makes him different than people that quit after their first two no shows?
Um, First off, he did stay in touch. He called. I could tell frustration, but he called. A lot of them get frustrated and just crawl in a corner and wet on themselves and don't do anything. He called and told me his frustration, told me what he said, what he did, what happened, and was willing to go back out again and set himself up for potential of it not going well again. But he kept going at it, and then all of a sudden good things happened. So he, he didn't just give up because he got a few no's and things didn't go his way. I saw a level of determination in him that, the cool thing is that's something within him. Scott and I didn't say anything magical to make him go back out and do it. It was in his own mind and heart that he wasn't going to be denied success. So
wasn't going to be denied.
That's what I got out of it.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, so I wrote it up here on the board. 3 things. Communication, got up and did it again, do it again, didn't give up. It's almost like really the formula for anything. Communicate, do it again, don't give up. Get up one more time, more than you fall down. You fall down 5 times, you get up 6 times. I'll say this too, like don't quit when you're feeling down. Quit when you're feeling great and life's good and everything's going rocking. Then make the decision to quit. Okay? Because then maybe it's more of an intellectual decision than an emotional one. Always be very careful with letting emotions dictate your actions. And all of you have been in maybe the situation where the words come out of your mouth and out of emotion, and it just it wasn't the smartest thing in the world, as evidenced by talking to Ginny, and she'll hear me say some stuff. Although, I have to say, it's interesting. I look at our relationship, and sometimes I've done that, but I've done it more at frustration at something else. So it won't be a her. I think why we're going to be married 25 years next May. Someone says, Alex, what's the secret to your success? I think part of it is I'm a pretty funny guy, so I inject humor in our relationship. Okay, that's for sure. I make the dumbest jokes to make her laugh. You have no idea how dumb my jokes are. Like, okay, so to give you an insight of my humor, there at the hotspot meeting yesterday. Gordon can appreciate this, but at the hotspot meeting yesterday in Cincinnati, there was one of our guys was talking about this awesome group that he hired. He was talking about this group that he hired. He's building depth in cord. It's a Cutco knife guy who has brought on his Cutco knife reps. Right? You guys know Cutco Knife. It's the door-to-door knife selling company, which these knives apparently are awesome. Greatest thing since slicing bread. But anyway, I leaned over to Patrick and I said, Patrick, all those people must be pretty sharp, huh? Okay, so that may not be funny. That may not be funny to you guys, but I made Patrick crack up. Okay, so my humor is pretty stupid, and I admit, but I make Ginny laugh all the time. So number 1, humor, and then number 2, of anybody that I know, when I'm around her, I am the most controlled of my emotions when it comes to anger and when I just want to lash out. Now, you guys have never heard me talk to a customer no service person. Like the office next door to me hears when I rant, and I'll rant on them, and then I have to go and beg forgiveness because I'm just, But for when I'm with Ginny, I control my emotions when I want to just scream and shout, and I tell you what, I swallow it big time, and I don't know what it is about her that makes me do that. I think maybe it's because I just value our relationship so much. I don't want to mess it up, so I never blow up. I've never done it in 25 years. You could ask her. I've never blown up at her. I've never screamed at her, even though I wanted to. I just really, and then I look inside, it's like, why am I so upset? And then I realize, because I'm stupid, So it always comes down, guys, if you want to maintain a marriage, just assume, number 1, you're stupid, And then number two, don't let your emotions dictate what you want to say. Okay, so what do I tell you that story? Well, number one, you got to have humor. You got to, when you're going through junk, you got to laugh. You got to figure out something to laugh at, because if you don't laugh, you're going to cry. Okay, so I mean, kind of uh, persevering 101. So this is like perseverance school. Perseverance 101. So, okay, these are the things you got to do to don't quit. But perseverance 101. So perseverance, whether it's your marriage, whether it's hanging in there. Number one, humor. You got to laugh at yourself, because if you don't laugh, you're going to cry. I always try to find what's funny about something. And there's always something funny about whatever it is. And it's usually, I think out of humor, there's a certain humility. So I'm going to equate humor with humility. Okay. What I found is frustration and anger sometimes comes out of overinflated ego. I I know that all about that. So overinflated ego about what things you deserve. So when you talk from the standpoint of what I deserve, and well, I deserve to have a better closing rate, or I deserve this, or how dare the world give me this crap in my life, you know? So I find that anger and frustration and just wanting to quit sometimes comes out of an overinflated ego. And what I love about humor is the humility that comes out of laughing at yourself. So I think laughing at yourself, and you think about, oh man, that was such a bonehead thing I did. What did I do wrong? I'm just like, and just laughing, because I think if you take yourself too seriously and take situations too seriously, then it can really cause you to do crazy things. You know, you fall into this despair mentality that causes you to um, do dumb things, right? So, lesson in perseverance is have humor, laugh at yourself. And that's why I think Stephen Davies, trust me, out of all the top leaders in NEA, he's gone through some junk. Now, everybody's gone through junk, but he's gone through some junk. I mean, serious family junk that I don't ever wish for myself. And to see him come through it, where it takes the humor of Stephen Davies to get through what he's gone through, which I think is really a testament in this concept of just laughing at yourself, not taking yourself seriously, and coming out of a place of humility that, number one, we don't deserve anything because, we're born upside down naked, just like everybody else is born upside down naked, and that God gave us life. We didn't give ourselves life. God gave us life, and I think about humility, humor. Another that comes out of this here, laughing at yourself, is, and I really mean this. It might sound trite, but count your blessings. Okay, so this comes out of the humor thing. So when you didn't close your 14th appointment, Ian, and then you're going on to your 15th appointment, wondering if you're going to close that. Trust me, I know, dude. I've been there. It's like you don't close the first one, you don't close the second one. You're almost expecting, oh God, here we go, my 15th appointment. I'm not going to close this one, and all of a sudden you don't. Then number 16, oh God, 16. Maybe this will be different. I don't know, but when I walk out of some junk, I laugh at myself, number one. Number two, I try to get to that place of gratefulness. I count my blessings. I count my blessings, right? Um, I remember back in the day when it was a bad week. I had a few big chargebacks. I didn't know how, like, remember, I've made average about 500,000 a year for the last 15 years, but my first year I didn't make 500,000. So it speaks to how much I made later, but that was an average. But, we started making 100 grand, 200 grand the first year and the second year. So I'm talking like the first year struggles to get through quit my job right away. And so I'm sitting there. We had two big chargebacks. I didn't know how I was going to pay my mortgage payment the next week. Um, and I had like two no shows, and two people that didn't want it. And it was like late night. I was driving around. I drove around, I don't know, for about an hour because I was really depressed. And so I parked my car in my driveway and I sat on it. I just stared at the moon and I really got angry. Um, I actually yelled at God. It just, man, I just screamed out loud, screamed. It's like midnight. I screamed out loud, screamed till my voice heard, why God, why did you put me here? Why did you put me in this stupid business that's not working? I just screamed. And and that's one of those things where it's like, man, the ultimate of frustration. I don't know if you guys ever felt that before, where you just want to look up in the sky and just like, God, I don't understand this, man. Why did you mess me up so much? Why did you leave me here? I don't understand. Do you hate me? Do you hate me this much? I don't know if you guys have ever had that conversation, but I had that out loud, screaming. I don't care who heard me in the neighborhood, right? And sometimes, when you kind of let all that emotion out, you get drained. It just totally drains you of everything. You get to the point where it's just kind of you just wondering if, you're worth anything. Your self-image and stuff is at its lowest point, and, all the positive attitude books kind of go out the window. It's as if you never read them. And so I open the garage door, I come walking in the house, and I just let my bags drop in the kitchen. I wasn't going to put it away. And, it's just one of those, golly, um, how can I face Jenny, not providing for my family? I just can't. I'm not a man. I'm not following through on my commitment to feed my family. I can't feed my family now. Just, I suck. And so I go walking up the house, and at the time, we had three young kids. My daughter, soon to be 20-year-old, was about 3 years old at the time. And then we had, so Zoe, Athen, and Maddie. Maddie's a baby. And yeah, we had three, Zoe, Athen, and Maddie. And so I think Gina was pregnant. No, I don't think she was pregnant at the time. So we had the baby's room, and then we had the two, Athen and Zoe were sleeping in the same room, kind of like a nursery, basically. And um, and so when I went upstairs, I opened the door to the baby's room, to Maddie's room. And I just looked at my little infant baby sleeping, Maddie sleeping in the crib, and just stared at her. And and then I looked in on Zoe and Athen, 3 and like a year and a half. Um, and they were just sleeping soundly. And the thought just occurred to me how grateful I am to have children, number one. When a lot of people were not having children or couldn't have kids, we were blessed to be able to. And I just look how beautiful they were and how much I love them, and how much as a father, um, how blessed I was to be their father. I felt like privileged actually to be their father, because they're just, they're awesome children. Even today, they've grown up, and I've just been blessed. And I look at them and I thought, golly, man, how much I love these children, and what a blessing they are to me. And what wouldn't I do for them? Like, what wouldn't I do for my kids, right? How could I not provide for them? And I don't care what it would take. I might feel like a failure, but I'm not going to not provide for them. I'm not going to give up. What am I going to do? They're depending on me. How can I stop not providing? I can't. It's my role as a father is to provide for my children and my family. And in looking in on my baby and the two young toddlers, um, this kind of era of gratefulness just welled up inside me. of thank you, God, for giving me these children and give me the to be in a position to provide for them as a privilege, and that, man, how can I not do that? And then here's what happened. As I was thinking that, all of a sudden I kind of reversed the positions, and all of a sudden I looked at myself as that child in the crib or that child in the little toddler bed, and thinking about God looking in on me. You know, I was thinking about God looking in on me, sleeping and or having a nightmare, like struggling and tossing and turning, and Alex, his little toddler, God's little toddler, just struggling, and thinking, how could God, if I felt for my children, like I would do anything for them, and that I would, keep them from harm, and I would feed them and clothe them, and not, do everything I could to have them not be hungry and not be fed, not have a roof over their head. I was thinking, golly, if I had all these overwhelming feelings about my children, how could I think God didn't feel like that about me? Um, so it was a very humbling thought that while I was looking in on my children, God was looking in on me, and God, as much as I felt that way about my kids, how much more God felt about me. You know, um, that I was His child, and that He would never leave me and never leave me um, without strength. He'd always give me everything I needed. And it was interesting at that point, he did give me everything I needed. He gave me the children for me to realize what my role is and what I was to do. He gave me my children to give me the perspective of what his perspective is on me, right? Man, how much he loves me. And so, next lesson, perseverance, is count your blessings. Understand that, you know, despite all the bad things, you can focus on the good things going on in your life and the blessings that he gave you. And literally, like I mean it. Like when I've been the lowest of low, I started counting off my blessings. I thought about the people in my life, my wife, who's hung in there with me through my crazy times. I think about my children who I've been given, and they're just awesome kids and just been a source of tremendous joy. I think about the friends that God's given me. I am thankful for the blessings that when I look at the people that I've had a little impact on, that I might have been sort of the communicator, that God used me as His conduit for other blessings to give an encouraging word or help someone through some junk, or honestly, the wisdom He's given me to kind of speak life into somebody, which it didn't come from me, it came from Him, but to use me as an instrument for that just was just crazy. I mean, that humbles me all the time. It's like, why is He using me, such a sinner, and to be able to influence people in a certain way? I don't know. I don't deserve it. So when junk happens, I think about, I count my blessings, right? Uh, so that to me is important. The third lesson in perseverance is reach out. There are people, gang, that care about you. No man is an island. No woman is an island. You're not. God didn't put us on this earth to be by ourselves, as evidenced by Adam and Eve. He took the rib out of Adam's body and then encased it in flesh and created his helpmate, Eve, Adam and Eve. Okay, he put the two together, and the two shall be as one. Okay, so from the outset, God made us a people not to be alone. He didn't form us to be alone. And likewise in life and in what we're trying to accomplish and where we're headed, you don't become successful by yourself. You become successful with the help of other people. And in fact, in two ways. Your success is, this is you, is reaching up for the mentors that God has put in your life to use to put his wisdom through, right? So the fewer mentors you have, the fewer opportunities God has to bring his grace on you with wisdom. So you have to have mentors in your life and in various things, that whether it's a spiritual mentor, whether it's a business mentor like in this business, maybe it's a relationship mentor, someone who can guide you and help you, that have been down the road further than you and that can give you wisdom. Like in Proverbs, a wise man has many mentors. A wise woman has many mentors. Okay, reaching out and reaching out for the mentorship. And the other reaching out is reaching out where you've got people to help. Okay, so it's kind of an interesting concept of um, I don't I don't know if it's called mentees, but people that you mentor. These are, let's just call them people, people that you want to influence. Okay, people that depend on you. Okay, so kind of the beautiful thing about perseverance is that you persevere through mentors that help you, and then people that you're mentoring by virtue of, because you're giving yourself away, you get something in return. So the reaching out part is reaching out up and down. What I found is that when you have people that you're helping, you take your eyes off yourself and you help others. So it gets you off of your crap, right? That's probably one of the biggest things about persevering through life, is that the more you think less about you and the more you think about other people, that's where life is worth it. That's where you get out of your own head and you're helping people that depend on you. Okay? The other thing is you're reaching up to people that can help you. I find that when I talk to certain people, and it might not be about the junk I'm going through, but it's about other stuff, that it helps me get out of my head and clears my head from junk. You know, the problem with the mystery and the fog of of junk is that it causes you to lose focus and clarity of what you're trying to accomplish and where you're going. And sometimes to clear the mist and the fog, you have to reach up to someone who can like clear the fog out of your head. You know what I mean? It's so important to clear the fog out of your head. The junk that can, and clarity is everything. Once you are clear about where you're going, it's easier to walk the path of where you're going. And in fact, once you have clarity, it's easier to overcome the bumps along the way, because you actually see the bumps for what they are. They're little bumps, they're not mountains to overcome. They're little bumps to overcome, little things that just you have to step over, right? Sometimes we so totally focus on the bumps that they become the mountain that we find hard to overcome. But when you talk to a mentor, you clear the fog, and the clarity that you receive then focuses you on the goal that you were after in the first place. And so when you're focused on that goal, then you're not focused on the bumps. Now the bumps aren't a big deal. It's like, it's like Steven says, 20,000 a week. Come on, man. It's only 20,000 a week. Really, and that's just 4 times 5,000. So it's like 5,000 a week 4 times. Okay, and it's like 2,500 a week 8 times. So you just do 2,500 a week, then double 2,500 a week to 5,000, and then you double 5,000 to 10,000, double one more time, you're 20,000 a week. So it's like 3 iterations of doubling. Okay? So that the clarity is there. So when you kind of think like that, that's the clarity. But when you're thinking there, you can't get there from here, right? So mentors will clear your mind. People to mentor, people that depend on you to mentor, whether it's your children, whether it's your agents, then allows you to give yourself away. Not even your agents, but other agents. You then get out of your own head and you serve other people. When you serve other people, you get more from it. Like, it was so cool when I was in Phoenix and California last week. What was really cool about that was I think maybe I've forgotten how many needs there are out there. It's one of those things where it's like the parable of a guy on the beach. There's a guy on the beach. He's watching this man who's walking, and he sees all these beach starfish laying on the beach, and he sees it like hundreds. But he sees this guy picking up a starfish and throwing it in the ocean. Goes to the next one, throws it in the ocean. Goes to the next one, throws it in the ocean. He finally reaches the guy throwing starfish in the ocean, and he goes up to the guy. He goes, "How? What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm saving some starfish." He goes, "How could this possibly? There's hundreds on this beach. How could it possibly matter?" And then he throws a starfish in the ocean. He goes, "It mattered to that one." And so I think sometimes you think about the needs that we have to mentor, or how many, I guess, how many people need mentoring. There's so many needs out there in NAA, in agents, just they're so hungry for knowledge. And I think going out to Phoenix and Hotspot and to the Rancho Hotspot reminded me about how many needs there are out there. People that just want to learn. They want to know how I got where I got, or how to grow. And and sometimes I think I don't have anything to give them. Like, what do I have to give them? You know, I don't know. I just sometimes don't think that maybe I don't have. Sometimes I wonder if I'm tapped out. I don't. It's like, how can I possibly teach them more so than some of their awesome producers out there? And and I go out there, and it's just amazing. They're so hungry. They're so hungry for knowledge, and it's vast out there. The needs are vast. There's so many people in the alliance that need mentorship and help, and it could be overwhelming. But what's interesting is going out at each meeting and meeting each individual person, getting to know them, and wanting for each person to win. It was, honestly, running hotspot meetings and teaching is one of the most gratifying things in my life I've ever done. Because overall, I might touch a few people, but you know what? For the few people that I do touch, or I do say something smart, hopefully smart to them, that I've learned from Andy, because I'm just trying to mimic. I'm trying to give them all Andy's stuff. I'm not trying to reinvent anything. That's the last thing I want to do. I just want to, feed back to them what Andy's been teaching us and teaching them. But, because a crazy Filipino guy with crazy hair and glasses says it a certain way, they might get it different, as opposed to, Andy Albright with the North Carolina accent. Sometimes you just, maybe they get tone deaf to their local leadership. I come in and say the exact same thing, and then they hear it different, and it clicks. And what's really cool is when I see that it clicks with them because I showed up, I think, oh my gosh, what if I didn't come out? What if I didn't come out and didn't share these concepts or whatever the way that I do it? I think, man, that guy wouldn't have maybe made the next step to the next level. And it freaks me out when I think, oh, there's so many needs out there. I need to get out there more. And what's really cool is by doing that, when I think about it, when I flew back on the red eye from LA, the same thing happened in Rancho Cucamonga. Just all the different people that I think really benefited by me getting out there. I flew back and I just felt this feeling like, wow, God really used me. Like he used me as an instrument. I felt like he really used me as the conduit. And it just was the best feeling in the world. It was inconvenient, and man, I'm still getting over the jet lag, gang. I don't know what it is. I usually bounce back quick, but this has been a tough week getting up, and like I'm really like, I still feel exhausted, but in a good way, because I gave myself away. And so that feeling of not thinking about me, but thinking about other people and helping other people was just awesome. And it just drives me to do more of that, drives me to continue on my mission on this earth. So this reaching out part, I don't even know what time it is, but this reaching out part is so crucial for you to persevere and continue on your path. Is having mentors to give you clarity, and then giving yourself away to other people so that you can be a meaningful specific in someone's life instead of a wandering generality in your life. See how that works is that when you focus on yourself, it's easy to be defocused on what you're trying to accomplish because it's a selfish thing. It's like, because you're thinking all about you. But when you think about other people, it gives you a clarity of purpose and fulfillment that no money could ever provide you. Money doesn't buy happiness, okay? It's fulfillment that gets you happy. And the fulfillment comes by reaching out and helping other people, giving yourself away because you get more. I was thinking, man, how enriching an experience it was to give myself away. And the whole trip, I think, was a couple grand by the time all said and done, with Ginny coming out there, and we stayed for Jane and James' wedding. And that was just a kick. That was a very special time to share in a blessing. James and Jane, it's fun. James and Jane, they always call me their godfather. And so how could I not go as their godfather and godmother, Jeannie? So it was just such a great witness to witness their unifying them as a team before God. The James and Jane team officially, consecrated marriage now, and it was just cool to see that. So the money was not the deal; it was the deal of giving to other people, and I think it was just like the most awesome thing. See how this kind of thing works, this perseverance thing, and I think if you focus on that, your life will be much more enriched. And I think sometimes the business really becomes the instrument by which we become better people, a way to achieve happiness, and a way to feed our families and achieve financial goals. Okay. And then the fourth thing, last but not least, let's see the time here. You guys hear me okay? It got real quiet. Am I still on? Someone grunt. Okay, good. All right, thank you. Okay. Number 4, faith times work. Okay, so you can say all day that I have faith, but you cannot prove your faith without work. And in fact, here's even the more important thing. You can't prove your faith until you struggle. Again, you prove your faith through struggle, not through when everything's going good. Do you see what I'm saying? It's harder to say you have faith. You can't prove to me you have faith by when things are going perfect. The only way you can prove your faith to me is working through struggle. They kind of go hand in hand, don't they? Right? So faith and then the working part through struggle displays the faith that you have. And faith is this nebulous thing sometimes. You think about, what is faith? Well, faith is continuing on even when everything and everyone and all the circumstances says you shouldn't. Okay? You still continue on. When all the logic and all the emotion and everything says you should stop doing what you're doing, you still continue on because you know in your heart that it's what you're supposed to do, right? It's your mission, it's what you're supposed to do. Number 2, that it will work because you have faith that it will, because of people that are helping you. And then you got a God in heaven who's watching over you. Okay? So there's this spiritual thing, is this faith as evidenced by your work, and there's your faith. So you put the work in, which shows you have faith that God knows what he's doing. Okay? I have the faith that God knows what he's doing, that he's providing for me. Now, how do I get through the junk? I work my butt off. If you don't work, you don't eat. So work is the evidence of your faith, and you can't prove faith without struggle. But Alex, should I pray for struggle? Well, I don't necessarily think you have to pray for struggle, but I think you have to pray for strength to persevere through struggle. Because don't you know, and this is what I love when Andy says, you're either getting out of something, you're getting into something, or you're going through something. Okay, let me say it again. You're either coming out of a situation, a challenge, you're coming out of a challenge, you're going into a challenge, or you're going through a challenge. Okay, isn't that life? The problem is that we blame those challenges on the business. You know, we kind of, the challenges in life. So let's, okay, life. Now, we can all agree that life has its challenges at any level in the business. Okay, life has its challenges, whether you're in the business or you're not in the business. The problem is that if we're in this business, we equate the challenges with NAA. And so by thinking that all the challenges are coming because of NAA instead of life, we equate challenges with NAA, then we want to get rid of we want to get rid of the struggles, right? I'm going to call it struggles. That's more of a negative word that people can, you know, struggle. Let me spell it correctly. Struggles. Life is struggle, right? And faith is manifested by our getting through the struggles, through work. But then we equate it to NAA. And so what do people do? They flush us, okay, and then they replace us with a job. And they find out, man, this job sucks. I'm going to go to another job. Okay, they get struggles to this other job. You start seeing a pattern, okay? They go to another XYZ agency. Oh, they got free leads over there, okay? And then they start the other job at another agency, and they continue to struggle. It's like, dude, seriously, what is the common denominator among all these? It's you, right? Yeah, here's the other thing. People do it with their wife. Man, I'm struggling with this wife. I'm going to get rid of her. I'm going to find another wife. She's prettier, sexier, younger. Then they have struggles with her, different struggles. Boom. What did they say that once you get divorced, your divorce rate with the next marriage goes up like exponentially? I don't know. I've heard it, but I don't know if anyone knows this statistic, but there's some statistic. Like if you have someone who has like 3 or 4 wives in their past, you got to wonder, okay, you got to wonder, I wonder what's the common denominator with that one? You know what I'm saying? Can't we just accept that struggles come with life? Life is about struggle and overcoming, right? But through struggle and overcoming, it gets us stronger. It helps us advance. Like, why do people go to the gym? They don't go to the gym just to sit around and have a leisure time. That's called vacation. You don't go to the gym for vacation. You go to the gym to work out. What happens after you work out hard? You feel good, but you feel exhausted. You're struggling against bars, or you're doing elliptical, and you're just keeping your heart rate up, and it hurts. Sometimes it's painful, but you go through that struggle to become better, right? You break down your muscle fibers, and then your muscles have a chance to build up again, stronger, better, faster, quicker, whatever. That's what this is, man. Life is designed for us to struggle and to grow. So you can't grow without struggle. So this part of struggle is essential to growth. Does that make sense? You got to struggle to grow. That's life. Struggle equals growth through faith and work. So all of a sudden, everything you're trying to blame it on isn't about them or NAA or a wife or kids or whatever. It's about you getting better. So all the struggles will help you become better if you're channeling it properly through mentorship and helping other people. Does that make sense, gang? So your struggles in life are part of what, so not necessarily pray for struggle, but you pray for the perseverance, the faith, and the work and stamina to get through it, the strength to get through it, to get to the other side so you can handle the next thing that comes at you. And I'll promise you this, your income, your success in life will be totally dependent on how you handle the struggles in life. Because once you handle the struggle, what you've done is you've increased your capacity to handle the next one. And so your growth as a person, your growth as a business will always be commensurate with your ability to handle more. So once you raise your ability to handle more, your business grows, your relationships grow, everything grows. So you just got to work on being able to handle more things in your life. How do you do that? Mentors, the books you read, the people you associate with, right? One of my guys yesterday said, look, man, if you're the smartest person in the room, you better find another room where you're the dumbest person, right? That's called association, right? If you're at the top end of your association, you're limiting yourself. You got to get into a bigger room where you're the low end of association of where you are, so you can get higher, you can get better, because you're associating with people that are better than you, that are in where in life you want to be, instead of you being, the Mac Daddy, big man on campus, BMOC in your little world, right? Your little world of the people you hang out with. You're like the Mac Daddy of your world. You're never going to get better. You got to be the servant in a bigger world so that you can get better, right? That's how you increase your capacity for more in your life. Does that make sense, gang? And like I said, books, who you read, what the books you read and the people you associate will determine where you're going to be in life and the questions you ask. How do you know to ask smarter questions? You get around people that have the answers to smarter questions, because you hear the question that they ask that are smarter, and then you hear the answers to them. So you got to get in the bigger room, gang. You got to get out of your small room of association into the bigger room of association, so you can then handle more struggle in your life, so that you can grow more. You see how that works? And here's the beautiful thing. You grow more, then you have more to give to other people. And when you give more to other people, you get more yourself. You see how that all works? You give away more, you get more. You have to increase your capacity to handle more, so you become more, that you can give more away. See how this circle of life goes, man? And then what happens is you attain fulfillment. you you feel good about where you're going in life, because you can handle struggle. Struggle is just part of it. And then you get, at the end of the day, you count your blessings, and then you laugh at yourself going, man, if they all only knew, if they all only knew how I really am. That's kind of the whole joke. God's ultimate joke is that we are nothing without him. He makes us everything that we can be. He has a bigger dream for ourselves than we even do. And we just follow his game plan. And then at the end of the day, laugh that it's not us, it's him, man, and then count your blessings. Life's good, man. Life is good. It'll get you through anything, I promise you, whatever you're dealing with. So anyway, that's it, man. I don't know why that all came out. I did not have that planned. I had something more geeky planned, I think. But I don't know, maybe someone needed to hear it. I hope so. Maybe I needed to teach it more than you needed to hear it. So it was more like teaching me. Like I said, I teach so that I can remind myself of what I should be doing. I need to laugh at myself more. I need to count my blessings more. I need to reach up to Andy Albright more. I need to reach down to you guys more to give myself away. I need to have faith, more faith, and I need to work harder, so I can increase my capacity to handle more struggle, so that I can become better, and then I can be ultimately what God wanted me to be, his dream for myself, to be the best version of myself. And that's God's dream for me. So really, I think that's it, man. I hope I hope y'all got something from this. It was certainly not planned, but as Cord knows, some of the best things come out of what's not planned. So anyway, gang, I'm letting you out 5 minutes early. Man, we still got people on the call. I can't believe it. Oh boy. Well, I hope it helped. And man, make it a great week. This is just an awesome business, both building and selling. The one thing we do, we recruit, sell, and build. And man, what a privilege it is to be in such a business where we can impact other people, our clients, and the agents that we hire. And and then just when my head hits the pillow tonight, I feel like maybe I gave myself away to more people and hopefully made an impact. So awesome, gang. God bless you all. I'm fired up. I'm just humbled to be in this position to, where you call me as your agency manager. And I want you to be where I'm at. That's for sure. So anyway, gang, Awesome. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And love you guys. Take care. Bye, everybody.